Okay, here we go. So, and today we're going to talk about the tips to make eating healthy easy breezy. And I've invited you to my kitchen. So this is my kitchen. I'm here in Lake Tahoe, and I've pulled out almost everything in my cupboards. Today we're going to talk. Our three topics are going to be on the importance of meal prep, which is one of my favorite things. Not necessarily that I love like thinking about meal prep, but I actually really do like meal prepping. So I'm going to give you some of my tips that I use. Second is veggies don't have to be boring. They can be fun. Now, that being said, it doesn't always have to be a party in your mouth, because you really do want to, if you don't have, say maybe if you don't really particularly like broccoli, you don't have to love it, but you can know all and fall in love with all the medicinal values that are in it. So then you slowly start becoming more fond of vegetables that maybe you don't care for. And then third is my favorite go-to meals. So my kind of rule in general is things need to take me about 10 minutes to get done. And, every once in a while, maybe once every 2 months, I'll do something like elaborate, a big meal. But in general, I try to keep my meals to where it takes me 10 minutes, because I'm usually getting home from work. I'm a little bit tired. I'd rather just sit down and enjoy my family. So what I do, and what we're going to start with, is the importance of meal prepping. So if you ever want the show notes to these shows, if you go to the KayaFit app and you sign up for the classes there, you'll get the show notes. So if you want those, you can DM me and I will send them to you. But just for weeks to follow, just go onto the KayaFit app, sign up for these classes, and then we will send you the show notes. So the first thing is what I wanted to talk about is the 5 steps in meal prepping that I take and that I make sure that I'm thinking about when I'm like, okay, so whether right now we're doing 7-day reset, and these are the 5 things. So go ahead and grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write down these 5 things. Now, these are things probably that you know or that you've done before, but are you, like, for me, like when I'm asking myself, am I really doing it to the fullest, or can I do this a little bit better? So number 1 is knowing your recipe for your beans. So for me, I use my protein is like beans and quinoa, or beans and rice. You can do, so I start with my meal prepping. I always start with the thing that's going to take the longest. So my bean recipe is my instant go-to. What I do is, and I can share the recipe with you, but it's easy if you just Google like pinto bean vegan Instapot. They come right up. So I start my beans first in my Instapot. I do usually pinto beans, but sometimes I'll do anything, black beans, lentils, but I always, and you guys don't have to use cans. I do use like canned diced tomatoes, but I just make sure that there's no BPA in them. So I do my beans, I do my canned tomatoes, and then all my spices. And so when I'm thinking about prepping my food, I tend to focus on like what has the most medicinal values, what can, like the spices that I add in, like how can that make my body function better? So what I really like is cayenne. So I put a little bit of cayenne. Now, sometimes I just put a teeny bit because my son is not a huge fan of spicy, but I'll put more on the side. Cumin, and like I love nutritional yeast. And I always put turmeric in almost everything because it's an anti-inflammatory. So in general, this is not just to share my recipe with you. It's in the important things for me for meal prepping is first, okay, how much time do you have? So I go shopping, I make sure that I get all organized and wash my veggies. Okay, so number 1, go shopping, get organized, wash your veggies, and get your stuff prepped. So I use a lot of jars. I use these, and I try to always use glass because plastic is not good for our hormones. It's not good for our environment, but it really causes havoc on like our health. So I try to do as much storage with my prepping in glass as possible. Okay, so we wrote down that, right? Number one is making sure that you go shopping, you get your list organized. So again, if you want to do the 7-day reset with us, you Deb can drop it in the notes, or if like on Instagram, you can just find it in my link. But it gives you a whole shopping list and helps you get organized. So number one, get your shopping list organized, go shopping, and then wash your veggies. So when I come home from shopping, I give myself tough love and say, wash your veggies. I chop them up, and because otherwise it's such an effort for me to go shopping. I come home, I open up the refrigerator, I put them in that little drawer, and then when I get really hungry, that's not what I go for, right? I go for like the crackers or something. So number one, go shopping, get organized, and wash your veggies. Now, number two is set your scene for prep. So sometimes it's Sunday for me, sometimes it's Saturdays for me, sometimes it's Monday, because a lot of times I work on the weekends. But I try to prep, I try to give myself like 2 hours. So when I'm doing like my prep, I try to think, okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 hours. I'm gonna turn on some music, maybe do some like essential oils, but clean my area so it's not like cluttered and dirty. So I'll make sure that my dishes are done, that, you know, kind of everything feels clean. And then that's like setting up my scene. I love playing like really fun music because it just makes me like enjoy the process a little bit more. I play really fun music when I'm cleaning the house too. Like, you know, anything where that, and sometimes it's like classical music, sometimes it's jazz, sometimes it's like pop music or Kai's music, you know, just anything that makes you feel like, oh, this is really fun, because that's what we want, is we want to create a sense of joy around prepping our food, around the things that like clean our space. Okay, so then number 3 is mastering the Kaya 5 fab. So our number 1 is going shopping, getting organized. Number 2 is setting up your space, doing some music. Now, number 3 is mastering the Kaya Fab 5. So, and I accidentally started with my bean recipe at first, but really this is like the Fab 5 is when we're boots on the ground, ready to start cooking, okay? So that was starting your Instapot recipe. So if you cook any type of like meat or you know, whatever you want in your Instapot, for me, again, it's my bean recipe. So I've already gone shopping, I've already cleaned my area, I've got some music going. The first thing I do is I say, okay, what do I want for the week for my beans? So I do pinto beans, lentils, black beans, whatever. Start that in my Instapot and then put that to the side. So then from there, know just one really good soup recipe. And, you know, even in the summer, I still have soup readily available because I tend to just kind of drink it all day, or I enjoy soup. And what happens is that it also hydrates, so it counts as your water, and then it makes you feel like a little bit more full. So maybe we might be wanting like to snack or maybe drinking too much coffee. For me, I go to and I try to have a soup available at all times. So just know one soup recipe. Make things really simple for you. Know one soup recipe. So the soups this week in the 7-day reset have been really fun. Thank you, Deb. This one is the sweet and sour. What I do is I figure out one base that I like for soup, and that's usually what I go to. So for me, I love, again, all of those like really the herbs and the spices that have all these medicinal values. To me, it feels like it's like medicine for my body when I make my anti kind of inflammatory soups. So I always start my beans, then I do a big pot of whatever soup I'm making for the week. So just get one recipe, keep it really simple, throw the stuff in there, always have your staples, and let that be easy for you. The next thing that I prep is my brick bowls. So if you've ever done brick with us, you probably have those like higher recipes, and the brick bowls are just delicious kind of like Buddha bowls that have all kinds of stuff in it. So when I'm prepping for my salads, which I can put in here, or you can also put your Buddha bowls in here, I take out my veggies, chop up my veggies, and have them in my little containers. So I'll have like my lettuce all ready to go. Maybe this is mint. I'll have, of course, like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, whatever's in my refrigerator. I just chop all of that up and then layer it up in my jars for the week, or in my glass Tupperware for the week. So then once I have all my salads in my bowls, or my Buddha bowls, but I just don't put my, obviously, like the things that would make my salads mushy. So I put my beans and rice on the side and then layer up. And I use a lot of herbs like fresh basil. I use like dill, mint, because then I don't feel like I want dressing as much, because it's really delicious. So I add a lot of like all of these, either fresh or like the little, this is dill, any kind of like spices that you have. Okay, so then I prep my breakfast. So I've got 2 hours. I've already gone shopping. I've cleaned up my veggies. Then I come home, I turn on some music, I start my beans in my Instapot. I start my soup that I want for the week. And then I chop up all my veggies, get those all organized for myself or my family, kind of put those in jars, or, you know, whatever kind of suits you. And then I think about, okay, what do I want for breakfast? So for the 7-day reset, I've been doing smoothies. So the smoothies, it's up to you. You can, if you have enough jars, you can put everything that you want in your smoothie. So you can do your mixed greens, a big handful. You can do your frozen berries or fresh berries, a scoop of protein powder, a scoop of hemp seed, maybe spirulina, and then put the lid on it, stick it in the freezer. So then the night before, you can just dump it in, put some water or like no sugar nut milk, and then blend away. Or you can do, which I do quite often, is I make like 4 steel cut oats in a jar. So what I do is I just put the steel cut oats. You can also use like muesli, so whatever like you have. I put chia seed, so like 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of chia seed. Of course, all my spices that help boost your metabolism. So Scillian cinnamon, if you buy cinnamon and you drink, you eat a lot of cinnamon, it's important to buy the more expensive brand of cinnamon, because and I don't even know what the other brand is called, but Scillian is the one that you can have as much as you want. The other one can cause some toxicities. So I put cinnamon in almost everything. So I make sure that I buy the more expensive cinnamon, but I buy it in bulk, which is much less expensive than anything else. So I put like a good teaspoon of cinnamon. I put some cardamom in there. I put my lid on it. I like raisins because they're good for iron. So I just put a few raisins in there, and they're sweet and yummy. I put my lid on these, and I make my breakfasts for the week. So those are all like dry and organized. So then when I I work out, I can boil my water, put my water in, put the lid back on it, and in about 5-7 minutes, it's like ready to go. Okay, and then the number 5 from your Fab 5 is get 1 or 2 dressing recipes that you really like and prep it at the beginning of the week. So this week I did Deb's no oil hummus. So that's in the Vitamix, 2 cans of garbanzo beans. You can also, of course, make them fresh. A couple tablespoons of tahini, 1 full lemon, here, and then I think it was like cumin. So then cumin and a little salt and pepper for taste. And it's absolutely delicious, really high in protein, and a great go-to. So when you're thinking about what dressing you want to prep for the week, typically for my salads, I get a balsamic that I really like. So a balsamic that I love, and or like mustard or salsa. Oh, you guys, I made the most delicious, I've never made hot sauce before. So I went to the Geo, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but oh my gosh, it's so good. So I went to the Geo and I got these like peppers, which I've never made before in my life. And I put them in a pan with just a little sesame oil and just, cooked them up a little bit, like 3 minutes, and then put water in them, and then cooked them a little bit longer, put them in the blender, put 1 lime and a little bit of sea salt, and then we made the hot sauce. It's so good. So I'm not going to buy hot sauce anymore. I'm going to prep my own. It's really inexpensive and super bomb, really good. Okay, so just kind of finding a few dressings. So does that make sense? I know I'm talking fast, but I want to go over the Fab 5 one more time. So when you're thinking about mastering the Fab 5 for the importance of meal prep, number 1 is just know your Instapot recipe and cook your legumes, your beans, and possibly your grains. So whatever that is, as long as grains agree with you, I love them. Then know 1 soup recipe. So get your base of your soup, throw lots of veggies in there, get that base of the soup, get your soup going. Then prep all of your vegetables, cut them up, make sure that they're like attractive to you when you open it up. You can put them in a salad jar. You can put them in like the individual like Buddha bowls that have all your veggies, whatever you have in the refrigerator. So just chop it up, steam them, however you prefer to eat your veggies. So get your Buddha bowls together, decide what you're having for breakfast, put those together and get those organized, and then make 1 dressing. So I can do all of that in easily 2 hours, listening to music, just kind of having fun. Okay, so I'm gonna jam because I think we only have like 5 more minutes. So don't make, number 2 is veggies don't have to be boring. So the charcuterie boards are really fun if you're going to present food to your family or to friends, or you're going out. But when you're thinking about like a veggie or like a 7-day reset charcuterie board, it would be like roasted veggies and raw veggies and the hummus. And I love, let's see where they are. I love Mary Gone crackers. So like having some like Mary Gone crackers on there, and then just making it beautiful, having some greens, and then of course maybe like sprinkling over the top some cayenne or salt or something like that. Okay, and then for me, so salads every day don't get boring. A lot of times I do steamed veggies. I wrap my food very often in these little sea salt organic seaweed. So this is really good for your thyroid. It's really good for your hormones. We need iodine. So I tend to like do avocado, put like my, whether it's like quinoa or rice, and then layer my veggies like sushi, roll it up, and then have these little seaweed burritos. I do wraps, so I will tend to get like, any kind of like wrap where it's like a romaine or big leafy greens. I'll put my hummus or whatever dressing, and then I'll wrap up like the beans, salsa, rice. So making your food, whatever you're eating, just feel different and fun by presenting it in a different way. And then always what makes me feel like things are different is different kind of dressings. And if you want some good dressings, you can go to our Kaya Fit blog. So you just go to our website, go to our blog. Deb posts her amazing recipes there all the time. And that's definitely my go-to. So like to follow Deb for all those fun things. Okay, and then I'm gonna finish off with my favorite go-to meals. So my favorite go-to meals, one, I always have like for breakfast, I have a good protein powder that I love. I love Compliment. Deb, if you don't mind, if you can put in the discount that we get, because this is such an awesome company. They're really great. They give us a like 20% discount. I take their vitamins, and I love their protein powder because it's very, very clean, no heavy metals. But I put either a scoop of this in like my silk oats, or I put it in a smoothie. But my favorite go-to meals for dinner is usually all the stuff I went over. So it's my steamed veggies, my soup, my like wraps, and then I love veggie tacos. So I do corn tortillas, and then all like the fresh salsa, avocado, cilantro, onions, garlic. I do try to keep lots of spicy stuff around and garlic and onions around, because those are really, really good for your immune system, and they're like antibiotics, so many good things. And I also love pasta. So I do like, there's like chickpea pasta. These are like my favorite. I got these actually like at the Geo, but these are like the mung bean pasta. This is like edamame black bean pasta. And I put together like my marinara sauce, and my marinara sauce, I try to make it like just an antioxidant. Like every time I make my marinara sauce for anybody, I'm like, okay, what are all the great things that I can put in that makes me strong and healthy? So, of course, like tomatoes are really good with the seeds of the tomatoes, lots of onions and garlic and nutritional yeast. I put turmeric in there, and nobody knows. It's so good. Like no one even knows. And cayenne, cumin, and just kind of mix it all in, and voila, it's super easy. It takes me literally 10 minutes. And of course, soups. So you guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope I didn't talk too fast or too long. When I'm prepping my snacks, I keep my snacks like raw food or fruit. So not always, but I try to remember, or when I'm packing and prepping my snacks, is whatever I have. If I have an apple, if I have a cutie, if I have grapefruit, if I have cucumber, if I have bell pepper, just chop it up, put it in a little glass Tupperware. So then if I do get hungry in between meals, that's already there and prepped. So quick recap, our 3 focuses are the importance of prepping meals. Number 1, step 1 is get your shopping list together. If you're doing the 7-day reset, it's already there for you. Go shopping, clean your stuff, and then get your jar things organized. Number 2 is set the scene, play some music, get your area clean. Number 3 is the Fab 5. Know your bean recipe, know your soup recipe, have your go-to for like what vegetables you're going to prepare, what are you going to have for breakfast, and make your dressings. So 2 hours, get that done. And then just don't make it boring. Keep it fun. Keep it, spicy, add different spices, share recipes. So if you guys want to share recipes. We would love that. And that's it. So hopefully I'll see you guys at workouts. Have an incredible day. Make eating healthy fun, making prepping your meals fun. Maybe even invite a friend over and you guys can do it together. But please share with me how things are going and how I can serve you. Have an awesome day. Love you guys. Bye. Bye.